All right, guys. All right, team. So we're here today. We got the prelim non-farm data. Tesla actually ripping up a little bit today. You can see Nvidia down to up all the way back up to 470. So Nvidia actually had a pretty big bounce yesterday. Tesla up a little bit today as well. So yesterday was actually a green day. It looks like. Let me see. I didn't really watch the market after yesterday. What's up, Pawn G-Force J? What's up, team? Again, you'll slap that like button if you haven't already. What's up, Pawn G-Force J? We also have GameStop C3 AI earnings today. We're gonna do a poll. Does the Fed or does the Fed raise rates next week? Yes or no? Vote in the poll. Again, GameStop earnings are today. That's one of the big boys. We'll see if that's good or not. Hey, what's up, Beach? What's up, Ricky? All right, guys. So yeah, today we got the non-farm employment change data. Look at Tesla, guys. So I didn't even realize Tesla was up so much. What do the next upcoming news mean? What do you mean? So yeah, remember, we got non-farm employment change data today. We also have GameStop and the ADP non-farm employment change expected at 130,000. We've got non-farm productivity at 8:30, import exports at 8:30. Bank of Canada interest rate decision at 10. Tomorrow we've got jobless claims numbers, keeping it easy. How's which one's supposed to impact the market? Non-farm employment? It's a mild release, but it'll move the market some. So like it's a mild release, but again, it'll move the market some. All right, team. 15 minutes. Sorry, I'm building up some of my scanners here so I can find some good stuff. I gotta save this layout. I wonder if I should try the 3 minute. I've never actually tried the 3 minute time frame. Honestly, is it wrong of me for kind of wanting another monitor? What's the poll? I only see yes or no. The poll is asking, does the Fed raise rates next week? Yes or no? Yeah, so the poll is asking, does the Fed raise rates next week? All right, so Nvidia up a lot, helping drag the market up yesterday. I gotta start using limit orders, man. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I gotta get out of the bid when I'm short. Ask when I'm long. Gotta start using limit orders. I got to. All right, team. So yeah, Tesla up to 240s again, all the way back up to 240s. That looks good. We'll see if that continues. What impacts would you expect from the non-farm announcement? I don't know if it's going to be a big impact or a small impact, or a nothing burger. I really don't know. It really depends. So again, I'm not sure what we're going to get for non-farm. It's hit or miss. The big one's probably going to be C3 AI and GameStop earnings this evening, though. And again, we're going to stream that as well. So, but the big one's probably going to be C3 AI and GameStop earnings. Those are really important. Specifically, GameStop obviously is not super important, although you're probably going to have a lot of people watching it. C3 AI is important because AI implications and that overall effect on the market itself. So that's the way you got to look at it. Is like C3 AI might move the AI sector, and that might move everything else. Yeah, they do expect EPS loss on C3. C3 is expected today. I don't think we had any big earnings this morning either. Let me see. Yeah, we had Campbell Soup this morning. Nothing really big. Tomorrow, they're expecting C3 AI to come in at an 18-cent loss per share. GameStop to come in at a 12-cent loss per share. Chewy also dropping as well. Expected at 6-cent loss per share. Viva Systems expected at $1.30 EPS gain per share. ChargePoint CHPT expected at a 31-cent loss per share as well. So that is what we are currently at. NBA 30-year mortgage rates just dropped 15 minutes ago. They came in. They're down. They came in at 7.17%. 7.17. Nasdaq's breaking down. We've taken a couple trades early on the Nasdaq here. You can see we're up about 220 or so. Got lucky so far. No losses there yet. Big drops today. I don't know. If we look at the SPY today, so here's the video on the left side. It's at 469s. Again, big implications for AI today with C3. Here's the SPY. SPY at 457. Still looking pretty strong. Nice little green day yesterday also. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start using limit orders and futures. It's something I probably should have done a long time ago, but like I've just been marketing in and marketing out, and I've noticed my fills are super suspect lately, man. They're just not good. You know, gotta definitely build these up a little bit better. Where I'm experimenting, like I'm a scalper anyway, so like I'm trying to get in and out quick, and so a lot of the time like I have to use market orders, but still. All right, so again, Tesla actually pretty flat. Like if you look at Tesla here, like Tesla's moving in a pretty sideways neutral way so far in pre. We'll see if that gets better, but that's what I see Tesla so far. All right, just was able to scalp out a little bit more. Get out on the bid again if we can. Boom, another good fill. Yeah, getting out on the bid is much better. Okay, so again, we're scalping the Nasdaq right here. You can kind of see we're up about 460 already. Nice little cushion on the day. Who? Action? I don't know who that is. Tesla, I'm up $11. Data change, really? Are you surprised we haven't seen any major pullback since the big upswing on the Nasdaq in November? No, not really. I mean, we've had a pullback here. Again, I mean, we have had a very nice upward move. You know, we've had a few small pullbacks, but yeah, I mean, we haven't had a red week. Again, I'm not super surprised. Like, listen, man, like, again, I'm probably known on YouTube as like the perma bull who hates on shorts, right? I'm sure like some shorts, like again, if you're a short bias trader and you know, you're in your head and kind of emotional about being wrong and me being right, you might act like I'm just being a hater, because sometimes it's hard to hear like, yo, you were wrong, I was right. But in hindsight, I certainly was right. Like, I have been saying this for years. I've been right about the market price action over the last year plus. Like, I've been telling people the exact same thing, like a broken record here every single day. And what I've been saying is that the market doesn't have to crash. The market doesn't have to pull back. Like, if you're bearish on the market long term, you're probably betting against the odds. And you want to understand the natural flow, the natural state of the market is that it's going to go up. Now we might have pullbacks and crashes and dips in between, and that's fine and good. I guess the easiest way to put it, like if you want to know why I trade long most of the time, all right, and this is the easiest way to put it, and I think it'll make the most sense for traders at home. So again, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with me, just listen to what I'm about to say. It makes a lot of sense. Again, I'm going to preface it with I can't guarantee you're going to make money or anything like that. Nobody can. I'm not an investment professional. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I might be wildly wrong about everything I say. But the point I'm trying to make is that if you bag hold a short position in blue chips or the big index funds or the S&P or the Nasdaq or whatever, if you bag hold a short position, odds are stacked against you in that situation. Like, you're going to have to get lucky and catch a crash before the market pushes up so much to where it's not even like, it's not going to come back. You got to get really lucky in that situation. If you bag hold on the long side in an index fund or a blue chip company, odds are stacked in your favor. Why are they stacked in your favor more so on the long side versus the short side? Because you can sit on them long enough, and odds are eventually that index fund, that stock, is going to come back and eventually break back over your entry, and you're going to be green if you sit on it long enough. The opposite is true for shorts. The longer you should sit on a short position, the riskier and riskier it gets. If we're talking broad market index funds like the S&P and the Nasdaq or Apple or Amazon, that's the way you have to look at it, because that's the truth, right? When you look at the historical data, that's the reality of it, which is that number one is that the market is going to go up over time. The market is going to rise over time for no better reason than our dollars are devalued over time, right? So if our dollars are devalued over time, eventually our dollars are going to be worth less. Companies are going to make more of them, in turn be seen as stronger, and price of stocks are going to go up. That's the logic of it, and it makes sense if you really think about it. You're not stubborn with your bearish market's going to, crash, it's the end of the world, doom and gloom predictions. Maybe we do crash. Again, I'm not saying we don't crash. Again, every 5 to 10 years a crash is going to, like at least a mini crash is going to happen. Right? And so if you keep throwing darts at a dartboard, eventually you're going to be right, just waiting for a crash to happen, right? But the real problem with holding short positions long term is that even if a crash does happen, it might have pulled up so much that even if we do crash, you're still losing, and that's the risk. And so just trade smart, guys. Like trade the edge the market gives you. You can short. I short all the time. In fact, I made this money today shorting the Nasdaq, believe it or not. So if you want to say I'm just a perma bull, like this is short. Pure short. I took no long positions today. This is pure short. But pun intended, I short term. I don't short long term. That's dumb. Yeah, we can do a countdown. Hold on. Yeah, just a bunch of people romanticizing Big Short Michael Burry, you know, causes people to overpredict crashes, and then they don't understand why they keep losing, and so they scream manipulation or whatever it is. But the reality of it is that the markets are going to go up over time, and anybody that studies the market understands that. It's not an arguable thing. Anyways, we got about an hour and 5 minutes left until non-farm payroll data comes out. We'll call it an hour and 4:20. Yeah, there we go. Wait. Actually, I'm sorry. We got less than that. This data actually drops at 15, so we have 54.5 minutes left. Nope, math's off again. We've got 50 minutes left. We'll probably do 49 actually now. There we go. Does this include hedging the Nasdaq using the SQ when it's at certain buy levels? I mean, what do you mean? Do you mean that? Do I mean don't short the market long term by buying longs to hedge shorts long term? You know what I mean? What I mean is like, look, and again, I should probably be specific in terms of time frame. What I mean is that the longer you hold a long-term short position, the riskier and riskier that position gets. Because when you zoom out of the broad markets, there's a very obvious trend. It's not an arguable trend. Every major investor and trader knows this trend, which is that the S&P is going to go up over time. The Nasdaq is going to go up over time. The Dow is going to go up over time. And so if you get too stubborn with shorts, you're going to hold past the point of no return for your profits, and you're going to lose. Now, there's all kind of ways you could hedge against that. Do whatever you want to do, you know. And again, if we're talking short term, there's a lot of opportunity to make money on the short side, short term, right? And when I say short term, I mean like a year and a half or less, typically, you know. So a lot of people think I say short term, I'm talking about 30 minutes. No, I'm talking about you can make money shorting things in a small bubble. You know what I mean? Like you can make money shorting things in a year or two, really. You start holding things longer than a year or two, that's when that long-term bullish edge starts to really play out and factor in more for index funds. And so that's when you got to be. If you're holding something short over a year or two, you know, you're playing with fire. You know, and maybe you get lucky and you catch the crash that you're trying to catch, but if you don't, you know, you're gonna lose. Where's Bitcoin at today? Yeah, all good, brother. All good, man. Bitcoin at 45K, man. What a run, dude. I'm pretty psyched for it. Yes, the average daily gain is 0.04%. It's middle school math. Anyone who holds shorts for more than a year is guaranteed to get buried by an impulse move to the upside. 100%. It's not always. I mean, there's always outliers. You know. Yeah, I think the banks are the biggest ones that are talking retail traders into not going long. They're telling everybody the market's going to crash. They're telling everybody all these bearish things that have just been wrong. birthday, Dogecoin. I believe that we are already in a crash and it only goes uphill from here. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, a crash, listen, I should probably clarify that when I say crash, I mean both crash and corrections to a certain extent. A crash is technically a very big move to the downside over 15%, right? So that's what's technically considered a crash. And so, like, I'm talking about crashes and corrections, you know. I'm talking about just shorting the market long term. And again, there's opportunity, but you just got to be smart. Like, you can't get stubborn. Again, I blame the news on both sides a lot of the time. If you watch, like, either side of the political spectrum news, they're just going to act like what gets clicks, right? What gets clicks? Telling people it's the end of the world gets clicks. It's worked for the last 40 years. And so, if you watch one specific news channel and you always think the world's going to end, you're going to be bearish, right? Doesn't necessarily mean we are bearish. We just got 24/7 news coverage. The world's always been crazy, is what people have to understand. The world's always been crazy, you know. Like, Carol and I are watching this show called World on Fire. It's like a World War II drama about, like, you know, the Germany's invasion of Poland and, you know, Dunkirk, and, you know, like, before the U.S. had really entered the war like that. You know, point is, the world's always been freaking crazy. You know, there's always been crazy stuff going on. You know, the difference now is that we've got cameras everywhere and 24/7 news coverage, where before it took weeks to get this, you know, stuff back. Started buying short Q once it fell to 16, and the assumption is the Q had run up and has gotten flat, that a pullback was due, and figured that the Nasdaq would pull back maybe 3 to 5%. Yeah, for sure. Again, short term L, like, there's always opportunity, brother. I'm never saying you can't make money shorting stuff, you know, because of course you can. I make money shorting stuff. Now, I'm probably much more short term than a lot of people, but you can make money shorting things for sure. As long as you don't get stubborn with those shorts and try to hold them indefinitely or long term. Like, you know, that's mostly what I'm talking about, is getting stubborn with shorts and bag holding them. You bag hold a blue chip company or the SPY or the Q or the S&P or the Nasdaq or whatever broad market vehicle you want. Odds are, if you go long and bag hold it, if you're going long and you sit on it, eventually you're going to make money on that trade. It might take 3 years, but eventually you're going to make money. You know, the opposite is true for shorting. And people need to understand how big of an edge that is. Like, again, it has to do with, like, if you want to know my swing trading strategy, and it's been a while since I talked about it, but my swing strategy is very, very simple. I look for blue chip healthy companies that have very, very large pullbacks. Like, very, very large pullbacks. Typically what I refer to them as is emotional overreactions. So I look for blue chip companies that have very large pullbacks, and I'm talking about, like, weeks of pulling back. It can't just be one big pullback. Sometimes it can, but typically I'm talking about weeks or more. And so, and again, these need to be healthy blue chip companies that I consider are healthy. Like, I'm not talking about Peloton. I'm not talking about Beyond Meat. I'm talking about healthy companies like Apple, Amazon, Disney, Walmart, you know, UNH, whatever blue chip company you want. And usually I buy it and I sit on it, you know, and if it bounces back in a couple weeks, like it usually does, if it's extended enough on the downside, I take some profit off. If it doesn't bounce back and it gets stubborn, I usually can just sit on it. I can sit on it and just let it work, and eventually it's going to come back up over where I was. Again, it might take a year, but that's the big edge of blue chips, is that I can be patient with them and wait, and time is on my side in that situation. I can just wait. You know, again, the opposite's true for shorting, and so people need to understand what the real edge is for a lot of this stuff. And Nike, hey, we're in Nike. I didn't realize how much I was up in Nike. Nike must have pushed up a lot. My average price at Nike is $90. Yeah, I didn't even realize Nike was up so much. Hey, you'd love to see it. Estimate is 122,000, I believe, for non-farm data, 122K. 130K. So 130K is the expected non-farm payroll report. 130K. Or it's not non-farm payrolls. It's non-farm employment. It's expected at 130K. We will cover this live as it happens right here on stream. Subscribe. Yeah, for sure, beach. Yeah, SoFi is interesting, but again, I do want to clarify for this as well, which is that I'm not talking about mid-cap companies. Like if the company's under 10 bucks, I'm not really doing it with this, because those are and I have been known to do it with these too. Like Snapchat has been one that I'm very open about. Like typically if Snapchat dips down to 9 and 10 bucks, I'm buying that dip. Like I can only imagine, like, bro, my entry on Snapchat right now is 927. Same strategy I just talked about. I'm still holding it. You know, when I bought this, the other thing you have to understand with buying companies, like whenever you're bullish in a company, the other side is going to hate on you a lot of the time. At least if you're a public person like me out here on the internet. When I bought Snapchat, and I've done this with Snapchat like 5 or 6 times over the last year. Every single time I buy Snapchat, and again, usually my strategy with Snapchat, just to show you guys, like usually my strategy with it is very simple. Usually what I do is I wait for Snapchat to drop down to like $10, $9, $10, $8, $9, $10. And if it drops down to $8, $9, or $10, I'm usually willing to buy it up, right, and sit on it. Every single time I've bought Snapchat, people have hated on it so much. They've made fun of the trade. They're saying, this dude doesn't know how to trade. This dude doesn't know how to invest. Like all this different stuff. Every time I buy it, literally every time I buy it, my average price on Snapchat right now, and it's at basically $15, is $9.27 is my average price for Snapchat. And so you got to learn to tune the bears out sometimes too, I think. But Snapchat moving up a lot too. Again, Snapchat though, let me just I might seem like I contradict myself because I'm like, hey, no stock under $10. I take some trades that in what I consider blue chip healthy companies, right? Snapchat struggles to monetize, but Snapchat's very well known. It's very well known. It's got tons of daily active users and monthly active users, and so anytime you have that big of a user base and the stock is cheap, I'm gonna try to buy it up, you know. And so again, we've gotten really lucky with this last trade where we're in it at 927s and it's at basically 15s right now. But yeah, same thing. So we buy it. Snapchat had dipped. You can see it dipped for months all the way back down to $8. And so in that situation, we bought it up. We're sitting on it now. I only invest as a bull. I only day trade short. I think the only problem I have with that statement is only day trading short. I think in day trading, you gotta take both sides. You can't just go one direction. You're too restricted if you do. But it's all good. Yeah, I mean, Oleg, that's what they said back in October, huh? And Snapchat has gone up, like over 50% actually. So Snapchat has gone up over 50% since October, you know. But again, this is what they've been saying. And again, I took a small enough trade to clarify. If you see me take a trade like Snapchat, the thing to understand about these as well is that I'm taking small enough trades to which, if they do go against me, it's not the end of the world, right? Like Snapchat, I'll agree Snapchat is certainly more speculative. What sold me on it was the amount of daily active users. Like I would cover all the Snapchat earnings calls. What sold me on Snapchat was the daily active users amount. They've got hundreds of millions of daily active users. And so maybe it's not hundreds of millions. Let me see. It's at least tens of millions. Okay, yeah, it's hundreds of millions. Snapchat had 406 million daily active users in the third quarter of this year. 406 million DAUs, which is 406 million people use Snapchat every day, right? And so again, we can say they're struggling, we can say nobody uses them, we can say whatever you want, The daily active users tell a different story, and again, that's why we bought it. What's your thought on Rivian? I think Rivian's interesting. It's got an uphill climb to make, but it's interesting. I think it's one of the I think it's got more backing than a lot of the other up-and-coming EV brands outside of Tesla. You know, I think Rivian's the #2 EV brand right now. It's got Amazon backing it and big money behind it. It's actually selling cars, and I've seen Rivians in my area. And so those are all positive signs, but it's still it's still definitely not a sure thing. But I like Rivian. But again, this is another one of those speculative trades where if you buy some, just understand you might lose what you pay for it. And so just, big percentage up and down movement on Rivian is seen on the charts. So you got to just be careful and trade small. What's your thoughts on the Cybertruck? I like the Cybertruck, man. People hate it. I don't know why, dude. It's a freaking Mars rover that has more towing power than a diesel Ford F350, as well as is faster than the Cybertruck is faster than an AMG twin turbo C63S. The Cybertruck is faster than a lot of your favorite cars right now. A lot of your favorite cars. Just to put this into perspective, right? The Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat was slower stock quarter mile time versus the Cybertruck. So the Cybertruck literally beats a Hellcat quarter mile stock. That's impressive. Again, people could say they don't like it. It drives itself. It's fast, and it looks like a Mars rover, as well as it's bulletproof to a certain extent. I don't know how you don't like that. I don't know how you don't like that. Again, I think people disagree with Elon politically, and they use that to justify hating on him or for whatever reason. Again, I disagree with some of the stuff he says politically too, but I have to separate him and his views on stuff versus Tesla, because I think Teslas are dope, man. I like them. But again, it's subjective. Yeah, well, most people say that Model 3s don't charge fully. Yeah, no, I covered. That was one of our biggest streams. Again, we covered that event. If you guys remember, we covered this. It was one of our biggest streams last week was, look, here's the Cybertruck delivery day. We got 40,000 views for that stream, And so, yeah. Point is, we had thousands of people here. We had like 7,000 people here or something crazy like that, I think. It might have been. Maybe that wasn't Tesla. Maybe it was. I can't remember how many people we had here, but we had a bunch of people here live. It was a fun stream. GameStop and Robinhood. Yeah, again, I think that's a good move for Robinhood, in all honesty, man. I think that's a good move for Robinhood. I think Robinhood's been downhill since it turned on the AMC and GameStop community, where it froze GameStop. If you watch the movie Dumb Money, the Robinhood CEO, Vlad, was in the movie. Not him himself, but a character playing him. And yeah. And so Robinhood now trying to get back on the AMC and basically retail's good graces. Now they're pushing GameStop and acting like they're big fans of GameStop and all that stuff. I think that's a good move, man. I think that's a good move. I think it's something that's necessary for them. I think they need to be like that. What's the symbol? I mean, it doesn't look super interesting. It's had big upward moves, but a lot of stuff has over the last few days or a few weeks. Yeah, people still use Robinhood. Again, the problem though, and again, they need to hire me. Robinhood, you need to hire me, man. Like, hire me here, okay? Like, I'll explain why. Is because if you've ever heard me talk about Robinhood, for a long time I've been saying the same thing. Before they came out with their advanced platform, I was like a broken record. I told people why Robinhood was struggling. Number one, GameStop stuff. You know, GameStop caused retail to turn on them. That's the first thing. The second thing is that I could only imagine that the bounce rate on Robinhood is so high. It's so high, like, because here's the reality. People learn to trade, right? And in that regard, Robinhood's platform with its simplicity and minimalistic aspects of it were very, you know, very desired by new traders, right? Like, they wanted a simple place they could learn with zero commissions, right? So you saw Robinhood, it brings in the new traders. But at a certain point, new traders are not going to want to continue to use that platform. Once they learn how to trade, once traders learn how to trade, they're not going to want to use it anymore. They're going to move on to TD Ameritrade or E-Trade or whomever has a better, more advanced platform. You know, now recently Robinhood came out with an advanced platform, but I think it was too little too late, and I think their platform has struggled since because of it. And so I think Robinhood should have come out with an advanced platform within a year of debuting themselves, and they didn't. And so a lot of people started to use Robinhood and then gravitated and moved on and evolved to a better, more advanced platform. And that's understandable. That's what happened with almost everybody. That's what I did. I used Robinhood and then I moved on to something else. Yeah, I don't trust that one. Oh, the reason I don't trust Baba is because there's too much risk. You know, if you've ever heard the story, if you don't know what happened to Alibaba, right? Alibaba used to be a powerhouse company, and it still is to a certain extent, right? But Alibaba used to be $300 a share back in 2020. If you want to know what happened, Jack Ma, the CEO of Alibaba, came out critically of the CCP, and they basically took his company and brought it to its knees and dropped it huge percentages to a point in which I think they took more ownership stake. You didn't see Jack Ma for years. He was out of the public eye for years, and everybody was talking about how he had just disappeared, right? And Alibaba suffered because of it. You know, it dropped from 300s down to 72 where it's at now. And so what does that tell me? That tells me I'm not touching anything from over there, bro. I'm not touching anything in terms of stocks from over there. There's too much risk, man. You know, there's too much risk. There's no consistency there. It's too difficult to predict long term because you don't know what's going to happen. And so because of that, I've vowed to not mess with Alibaba at all. I'm not touching it. It's too risky. You know, you don't know what's going to happen to it. Alibaba's used, though. If you don't know what Alibaba is, right, for Amazon FBA sellers, right, if you want to sell something on Amazon FBA, you have to source your products, right? A lot of the time people source them from overseas, and they use websites like Alibaba to connect with wholesalers, right, that sell their products. So you want to start a yoga mat business, right? You go on Alibaba, you find a supplier for yoga mats. If you buy bulk, say you buy 1,000 yoga mats, you get them for $4 a piece, right? They'll even stamp your logo on them if you pay an extra 50 cents or whatever, right? And then so you could buy 1,000 yoga mats, stamp your logo on it, and then slap them on Amazon for $30 a pop, $20 a pop, making great margins from it. Now, it's much more difficult to succeed than what I'm saying, but like that's what you use Alibaba for, is connecting with suppliers and wholesalers overseas. Yeah, I mean, that's a true story, man. Again, since then, like, I remember when that happened, I've used Alibaba before. Like, I know what Alibaba is. I've used them a lot before. I've watched the company for a long time. But once that happened, for me personally, it's about stability long term and investing in something, right? Like, I want to invest in things that are stable long term and that I know have a high probability of showing a profit, right? If all of that drama is going on there, and again, I'm not even criticizing it. I'm not, again, I don't, you know, maybe I'm wrong here. But if all that, if all that instability is going on over there, I'm not trying to mess with it. Like, I'm not trying to touch that. Like, that's too risky for me personally to invest long term. Yeah, I've thought about it, Jason. Hey, y'all hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, team. Looking at our votes, does the Fed raise rates next week? 63% saying no. Does GameStop beat or miss earnings? Also, slap that like button, guys. We got 70 likes. We can do better than that. All right, guys. All right, so E-mini bouncing up a little bit. I'm getting ready to potentially short. We'll see, though. We're right at the VWAP and the 200 EMA on the SPY. I don't know if I want to short it yet, but... They tried what? Oh, from Alibaba? Well, then he needs to source it better. Like, you're safe, Justin, if you source it from the right person. Like, Alibaba will probably refund you too. So if you go through Alibaba, that's the benefit of Alibaba, right? You go through them, you find a supplier that's got good reviews, right? You find a supplier that's got good reviews. It needs to be somebody that's been around on the site a long time. Like, you see it on Amazon as well, right? Like, and again, this is how they get people. I know the scams on Amazon because I sold on Amazon for a long time. Right? Like, I had a used book business that was very profitable. You know, it's a long story. My wife at the time had some medical stuff going on. I'm not going to be too specific. I've talked about it before. This was like years and years ago when my son was born. And so I had to kind of stay home and help take care of her. And throughout that period of time, I had to figure out a way to make money from home. And so one of the ways I would do it, and this was before it got so big, is I would go to thrift stores and I had like a Bluetooth barcode scanner. And the Bluetooth barcode scanner, I programmed it to where it would like jingle, like it would go doo 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 if I scanned something that was worth over $20, that the lowest selling price on Amazon was over $20. And I mostly scanned books, right? But I'd also do like CDs and some other stuff. But anyways, so I'd go there and I would download the database to the scanner, right? To my phone, actually. And I would go to their book section and I would just ding, 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 ding. And I would wait for it to hear doo-doo-doo. And if it went doo-doo-doo, I'd take it, I'd look at the price, I'd throw it in the cart, and I'd move over. And, you know, Goodwill used to sell books for like $1 a piece. Like, you get it for like $1 a pop, like $1 a book, $2 a book sometimes $3. But point is, you're getting something for $1 that sells for $20 online. And if you do that enough, like, if you're in a big city like Houston, I would just make a circle around the city. I'd go to every thrift shop, make a circle around the city, had thousands of books, you know, made thousands of dollars online every month doing it, you know, and so there's a lot of ways people scam on Amazon. One of the ways is they'll tell you they received an empty box, and Amazon is so pro-buyer, like they're so buyer customer friendly that they don't really care about their sellers like that. They will refund the buyer immediately, even if they know the buyer scamming them. It's one of the reasons you should never buy a phone, or you should never sell a phone on Amazon. Like selling a phone on Amazon is just asking to be scammed, because people will buy a phone, claim they never got it, and Amazon will just refund them the money, and they got a free phone, you know. But yeah, with that said, the other scam is that people will, like, new sellers will pop up and they'll sell a product for super cheap, right? They'll sell a product for super cheap, hoping somebody that doesn't look at the actual sales history of the seller will just buy it really quickly, right? And so they'll buy it really quickly. It's supposed to take a couple weeks to get it, and by the time they're supposed to get it, they've already gotten paid and then deactivated their account. You never see them again, and they're using VPNs to hide it. Those are the biggest ways people scam, and I'm sure the point is, I'm sure some people do that on Alibaba as well. Yeah, I mean, over time, like, again, that's where I got most of these books, right? Like, you see all these books. You can't really see them here because it's dark, but, like, I've got a library in here. That's actually where I got most of these books, was from when I shut it down. I shut it down because, frankly, I started making more money doing other stuff, right? But I used that business to kind of support, to support us, and you know, it was good while it lasted. Eventually, it became really saturated because basically everybody started doing it, you know. And so, you know, it went from I would go to the thrift stores and there would be like one person there to I would go to the thrift stores and there'd be like 5 people there with scanners trying to do the same thing. So everybody wants to avoid work, you know. And again, it's only going to real work. And again, I'm sure somebody at home is hearing this saying, "Oh, I want to do that." No, you don't. It's saturated right now. It's too saturated. You're not going to make anybody do it. It's difficult to create an online store on Amazon. No, it's pretty easy. The problem, though, and again, I'm going to be honest, okay? You see a lot of people selling Amazon FBA right now. And again, I promise you, if I thought Amazon FBA was profitable enough, I'd do it right now. Right, I would sell my own Amazon FBA store. Right now, it'd be very easy. Right? The problem, though, is that it's not. Right? The problem is that it's not super profitable and that it's risky. It can be profitable, but the example I always use is fidget spinners. You know, fidget spinners came out and they were selling for like 30 bucks a pop for fidget spinners. When they first dropped, fidget spinners selling for 30 bucks a piece, right? And so a lot of people ordered them overseas and buy bulk, you know, fidget spinners. Say they got them for $10 a piece when they're really selling for 30 or whatever. So if they've got 1,000 fidget spinners, they spent thousands and thousands of dollars on. And then within a couple months, fidget spinners, everybody, gas stations sold them for $2. Right, and so the margins are not great on Amazon FBA a lot of the time. If you look at the margins, you can check sites like Flippa.com, right, where people are selling online businesses. Look at Amazon FBA businesses and look at the margins. Look at how much those sellers are having to spend every month to make, right? And again, you might not understand why that's a big deal. If you're spending $6K to make $1K, like, that might work for a little while. But eventually, if your product starts selling, you're sitting on $6,000 worth of inventory. Your 6 months of profit are basically gone because your product stopped selling, right? And so it's very difficult to make money consistently on there. It's one of those markets as well in which more people make money selling courses or being mentors on how to sell on FBA than they do from actually selling on FBA, right? Like, that's their hustle. It's like they're a mentor, they're a guru, Amazon FBA guru. Same thing with drop shipping as well, right? Like, people make more money selling courses on how to drop ship, on how to wholesale real estate, or on how to sell Amazon FBA than they do from actually doing those things. And so that's, you got to see what the hustle is, and that's what the hustle is. I'm normally a bear since 2020. I see credit card rest at all-time highs. I feel people are running out of money to live. And on the flip side, the market seems to be a bull. Yeah, I mean, I think the market is already down a lot. Like, I think you have to look at the market in this way, right? Here's a weekly chart. So we already had the little 2020 dump, right? We're actually on the comeback from that. So we're actually bouncing up a little bit. To me, this looks like a cup and handle pattern. But people acting like a lot of the time when crash happens, it's when we're pushing up highs. We're just pushing up over highs. We haven't been anywhere near highs since 2020. You know, right, let me see when this was. Maybe not 2020, 2022. Since basically 2021. We haven't been anywhere near highs since January of 2022. And so it's still been years since we've been close to highs. And stocks are not going to go down forever. Bear markets are not going to last forever. The biggest risk to the economy is that rate hikes have a lagging effect, right? So rate hikes take about a year or two to really hit. And they're going to affect banks the most, and banks will then, in turn, affect everything else. Maybe they'll raise interest rates or do whatever banks do to fix their margins. But the last few years, we've really aggressively raised rates. And those rates, some of those rate hikes have yet to be seen the impact on the markets, is what I mean. And so the risk of next year is if a lot of the rate hikes that we've done over the past year and a half start to really affect banking, and that makes banking weak, and then banks raise interest rates to consumers and struggle, and that trickles into everything else. That's the risk, right? Like, that's the risk. And so, and again, people don't understand that rate hikes have a lagging effect. So we're not gonna raise rates today, and the market's going to feel this today, or the economy's going to feel that today. It's going to take a year for those rate hikes to do anything. You raise the federal funds rate. Federal funds rate going up makes banking more expensive. Banks' margins are worse, so what do is they raise interest rates to consumers. Consumers see the interest rates being high, so they stop spending as much, and businesses notice consumers aren't buying as much, and so in turn they lower their prices to compensate it. That's the logic. That's the cycle of it. But again, with that said, we got a lot of these rate hikes that might start affecting everything soon. Y'all slap that like button. We got about 500 here. Hey, thanks, Beach. Y'all go check out Beach Bum's channel. Go hit that subscribe button. I think he does Saturday streams, so y'all go check him out. Gold? Gold has got some influence and stuff. Gold, I don't know, it's pulling back. It broke highs. So it broke lifetime highs. Gold got up to 2150s. But it didn't hold those gains. So it got up to 2150, and now it's all the way back down to basically 2000. It's at 2040s. Up a little bit today, but kind of moves with the market to a certain extent. We got non-farm productivity data coming out too. Alright guys, so we got over 10 minutes here, over 10 minutes. All right, guys, again, Tesla holding. We got over 10 minutes left still. Thoughts on gold? Here, we're going to throw it in sub-only mode, so if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Everybody announce yourself, show us your sub. We appreciate it. SPY dipping down a little bit here. Still over the 200 EMA and the volume-weighted average price, though, so Again, let me know if you guys think non-farm payroll data is going to come in higher or lower. Do you think non-farm employment data is going to come in over 130 or below 130? Over 130 or below 130? Hey, what's up, Jonathan? Hey, thanks, Biggie. Thanks, Jonathan. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, Blee. All right, so we asked people, does the Fed raise rates next week? 64% say no. And that's probably accurate. I don't think the Fed raises. Yeah, I don't think the Fed raises up. It's just super unlikely if we look at the actual voting numbers. 97.7% of people think we're going to pause, which is almost certain what's going to happen. All right, guys. Hey, we got 8 minutes left. 8 minutes left. Market's kind of flat here. We don't have any other stuff coming out today except for this evening. The big boys come out with C3 AI and GameStop earnings. I'm trying to figure out which one I should cover, though. I'll probably cover GameStop and C3. Yeah, I'll probably cover GameStop and C3 earnings. All right, so is GameStop doing an actual earnings call? Okay, I actually remember when we did this. All right, guys, 7 minutes here. 7 minutes, team. We got about 600 people here live. Slap that like button. Oh yeah, we got the Canadian interest rate decision as well. That's not going to be a big interest or big influence over markets. Fed rate cut early next year are priced in. Yeah, probably to a certain extent. Hey, what's up, Manny? Little trend line on the Nasdaq right now. All right, so we got all right, guys, so we're sitting tight waiting here. SPY is just ripped up pretty big ahead of this report. We got 5 minutes left, 5 minutes left. Delta Airlines says consumers are doing very well. They are continuing to prioritize travel. Experienced economy is doing very, very well and still has quite a ways to go. All right. Campbell Soup says consumer landscape remains challenging and expects CapEx to be approximately 5% of net sales. We had Volkswagen HR executive telling employees in a letter that the company will have to reduce the workforce through partial retirement and early retirement, may have to cut staff costs in non-production business by 20%. Italy is ready to veto the reform of EU Stability and Growth Pact, according to Reuters. All right, guys. Hey, we got 4.5 minutes. 4.5 minutes. All right. Oh. And again, if you want to day trade with me, try out Top Step. If you want to day trade, funded account programs are a great way to limit your risk. If you don't have that much equity, you can pay $49 if you're good enough to pass that challenge in futures. They fund you $50K with a 90% split. They've been around for over 10 years, fund thousands a year, pay out millions in actual withdrawals. In the futures market, you can day trade essentially the SPY, essentially the Q. Patterns look very similar to blue chip patterns. There's just no PDT rule, and it's a great way to learn day trading. They are a sponsor of mine. If you want to check them out, here's the link. Great way to help support your boy here. Definitely biased in their favor, though, but check them out. We got 3 minutes here, team. 3 minutes. Are you guys long or short right now? Long or short? That's the easiest way to ask. Are you guys long or short right now? Here's the SPY on the left side. I can put the Q up as well. I'm going to put the Q up. See how this responds to everything. Here's the Nasdaq. Q is basically the Nasdaq, just to put this in perspective. Which is why I always tell people you can essentially trade the Q in futures. Small long. All right, guys, here we go. 3 minutes. Long, long, long. All right, guys, here we go. SPY bouncing off of the VWAP here. We got 2.5 minutes. All right, guys. All right, here we go. 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes. Non-farm employment change data comes out in 2 minutes. If you don't know what non-farm employment change data, number one, guys, make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. Expectations are 130K. The National Employment Report measures the monthly change in non-farm private employment based on payroll data of other businesses. It comes 2 days ahead of non-farm payroll data. So it comes 2 days ahead of payroll data in unemployment. It's used as a predictor of labor markets, right? So again, higher than expected employment change numbers. Higher than expected means a more robust job market. So basically, if we come in higher than expected, that's bad in my opinion. If we come in lower than expected, that's good in my opinion. But that's the nuance of it. Higher than expected, bad. Lower than expected, good. But again, this is the prelim non-farm data. The actual payroll data comes out on Friday. All right, so there's the data coming out right now. So there's the data. The data just showed up at 103,000. Way lower than expected here, guys. Much lower than expected payroll data. Much lower than expected. We are long on the E-mini right now trading this. We are long. We're up. We're going to go ahead and get out the rest there. So, yeah, we just got out. We are up $700. Lower than expected at 103,000. Again, I told you guys exactly how we would respond to this, where a lot of people don't understand economics. You're welcome. I told you guys exactly how we would respond to this. I told you guys that we would that if we came in lower than expected, that was good, and higher than expected is bad. Higher than expected means a more robust job market, which the market does not want. The market doesn't want a more robust job market. That's what Powell has been very consistent in saying. And again, non-farm employment change data came in much lower than expected at 103 versus 130,000 expected. Will this be a predictor of non-farm payrolls on Friday, guys? Will this be a predictor of non-farm payrolls? We're going to put this up on screen. There it is on the bottom. Again, markets rip it up right now. Markets rip it up. Gold's pushing up. My portfolio is nicely green on the day. We love to see it. Tesla is up as well. The Q is ripping. And again, we've had a nice little gains today. Again, we honestly, we were sitting in a trade that was already green prior to this. The good thing is in day trading, we're up $692.50, and we haven't had any losses on this account today. No losses. This is the only account we've traded today too, so you love to see it. We'll see if we can keep grinding this up. You're welcome. If lower than expected is good, why is the font color red on Forex Factory? That's confusing me. Because anything lower than expected is going to be red, right? Anything higher than expected is going to be green, because it's not gauging whether it's good or bad. It's gauging whether it's higher or lower than expected using red to green as a differentiator. And again, guys, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. If you want to day trade just like me, this is Top Step. I am day trading essentially the SPY price action, or what's called the E-mini S&P 500 in futures. I can day trade this in futures, no PDT rule. I can buy market, sell market, all that good stuff, no PDT rule. And Top Step is the most legit funded program in the world. I can also day trade essentially the Q. You can see the patterns on something like Tesla and something like the SPY are very similar. Same thing with the Q. But I can day trade essentially this left side in futures in what's called the E-mini with no PDT rule. I can, get in and out quickly, day trade as much as I want in the futures market with no PDT rule. And what Top Step does is they test your skill in a funded account program. So if you don't have that much money or you want to limit your risk, and most day traders lose, remember, try out a funded account program like Top Step. If you lose, you're only out $49. You're only out what you pay for the combine if it's the base one. But if you're good enough to pass it, you get a 90% split once you're funded anyway. And so the reward is very similar to putting the money up yourself. You just have noticeably less risk typically than what you're going to risk putting up the money up yourself. I lost thousands when I first got started. So avoid that mistake. Learn to day trade using a funded account program like Top Step. And Top Step's the most legit one in the world. They've been around for over 10 years. Check them out. Yeah, I mean, see the world though. The problem here, man, is that the reason the market reacts positively to this is because we're not anywhere close to a recession right now, bro. We're just nowhere close to a recession right now. Like, the reality of things is that what the Fed actually wants to do is push down the labor market. Again, this has been something they've been incredibly consistent with over the last 3 months, 4 months. Every time Powell speaks on the economy, what does he say? Again, I've streamed all of Powell's talks over the last months. What he always says, over the last few months at least, is that the labor market has been resilient and too robust, and that if we want to be able to hit our 2% inflation goals over time, the labor market needs to cool. Okay, that is why the market responded positively to this, and it's now pulling back some. But that's why the initial reaction was positive, is because what these data points show is that the job market is cooling. It's also what we saw yesterday with the Challenger job cuts. We had the jobs report, with the JOLTS job report, We had the JOLTS report yesterday, same exact reaction, same exact thing, where we had lesser jobs than expected. That made the market go up. People were more optimistic regarding inflation, right? So what this basically means is that we have inflation more under control. The other thing about a recession is like GDP. When you look at GDP first revision data that came out, I believe it was last week, it was way better than expected as well. And so I don't think we're anywhere close to a recession fear. And I think a lot of the time bears justify being bearish because, no matter which way the data points, if the data comes out much higher than expected, like if we have much more jobs than expected, signaling a more robust job market, they're going to say, oh, well, the job market's too strong right now. That's bad, short, and if the jobs report comes in low, they're going to say, oh, well, the jobs report is bad, short, jobs recession fear, short. And so no matter which way you go, you're going to have bearish people pushing things. But you got to understand, this is what the Fed wants. Like, we want a more cooling labor market for sure. Love you. Okay. Have a good day.
Do you like your pants?
Huh? Yeah, they're cool. Don't fall in a koi pond, Manny. Don't burn your foot on a George Foreman grill, you know. Love you. Have a good day. No, bad is good and good is bad. You know, again, people acting like the market's just going to go up no matter what. No, what it really is that if jobs numbers came in way higher than expected, like we saw something like that, I think we saw jobless claims come in lower than expected, right? So more people working, market dropped, right? So what's good is bad and what's bad is good, really. Because again, if this data would have showed a much stronger job market than expected, the market would have almost certainly dropped. So that's the thing you have to understand about it, is that this is good. This is what the Fed wants. This is what the Fed said they needed to curb inflation. We saw this in the FOMC Fed minutes report. We saw this in Powell's speech last week. We saw this in the last FOMC meeting. He's been very consistent what he said. He's been universally saying we need the labor market to cool. And that's what this data shows, is the labor market cooling. Yeah, the housing market's definitely sucky right now. But all right, guys. Powell also said there will be rate cuts. Yeah, a lot of people think in May is when we're going to start cutting rates, May. Which is fine. I'm okay with May rate cuts. I mean, I was in that one actually for a little while before the data report came out, Jonathan. So, like, I was in it for a while. You know, what happened was that I was long the SPY back here. Like, what really happened, I was around right here, I was long. Right? And so when the data came out and it pushed the market up, before I even showed you the trade, I immediately took like a lot of it off. Right? And then I just decided to get the rest off as well. You could kind of see, we had already built up a cushion though on the day. So like, again, we had already been up, you know, basically $500 on the day. And so when this happened, we got this big spike and that's what we took profit on. But yeah, we're up about 7. No losing trades so far in day trading today though. So that's always good. Yeah, again, like, people have to understand and let go of, like, the market crash predictions, man. Like, we already got a mini crash in 21. The market's not going to be bearish forever. The report I always tell people is that there's been 3 events in history in which we've had a losing bear market for more than a year in a row. So there's only been 3 times in the history, 3 events in the history of the market that have caused more than 1 red year in a row in stock. So what does that tell us? It tells us it's incredibly rare. And people that are predicting we're just going to be in some long-term bear trend, you know, of course they don't like me because I'm going against them. But like, hindsight has proven me correct. And again, I think you have to look at it objectively. Yeah, Fed's not going to cut anytime soon either, I don't think. All right, guys. All right, team. The markets are starting to head back up some here. All right, so we're starting to head up a little bit also, guys. We're up to 457.60s, 457.60s. What's high impact news release? How long do the big movies usually play out until it starts moving? Yeah, I mean, there's no really set thing there. Yeah, there's no really like set thing there. It's mostly kind of a mix of everything. Like sometimes the market bounces up, sometimes it doesn't, and so it just varies. Did we know how to fix my issue? What issue? Some stuff at 8:30. We got non-farm productivity at 8:30. So yeah, we got non-farm productivity at 8:30 in less than a minute. So again, we'll see if that shows anything different. I don't think that's really going to move markets, though. We got import-export prices, non-farm productivity quarter-over-quarter is at 4.9%. It measures the annualized change in labor efficiency when producing goods and services, except for farm, of course. Expected 4.9%. Another kind of gauge on labor, although not as direct of a gauge. The SPY and the Nasdaq are pushing up a little bit. There's the Tesla chart on the right side. It's at 242.50. Here's the Q. MO? Never heard of that stock. Probably K, but I'm not sure, bro. It all depends. All right, so non-farm productivity is out. It came in at 5.2% higher than expected, at 5.2% for non-farm productivity versus 4.9% expected. We did have a trade balance of minus 64.3 billion, which means that we exported less than we imported by a little bit larger margin. Imports came in, exports came in. We also had the Bank of Canada interest rate decision at 5. But the market likes this data. Look at this. Rip it all the way up to 458 right now. Wow. Yeah, I'm not sure, bro. That's a trade evade issue. That doesn't have anything to do with Top Step. It doesn't have anything to do with, like me especially. I really don't know, bro. I don't use trade evade much. It's been a while since I've used them. I would reach out to Top Step to see if they can help. But again, brother, that's, you know, like, I would reach out to them. All right, NVIDIA pushing up as well, over 470s. Altria, yeah, I don't know enough about Altria to really give a prediction on it. All right, guys, again, non-farm employment change data is out. Market's looking very strong. Look at the SPY. We got a decent amount of people here for a non-farm stream, though. So, hey, thanks so much, team. Appreciate joining the stream. GameStop earnings today will be fun. Again, y'all hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We appreciate it. Thanks so much. Honestly, my channel's growing a lot, man. It really is. Like, my channel's been growing a ton. Man, look at the market, guys. Wow. Again, I'm loving this too because I'm in equities right now. So I'd love to see a Tesla ripping up to 243s almost. We're getting some increases in gold too. I'm in gold. Apple is up. A lot of stuff's green. You love to see it. Bouncing back after. Am I in PayPal? Yeah, I'm in a little bit of PayPal. We're down slightly on the day. You're doing good, John. Keep it up. Hey, thanks so much. Yeah, like we're growing really quickly here. We're hitting like about 300,000 views a month. So about 300,000 hits a month on the channel. Look at the Q team. Wow, at 389.20s. It's bumping up. We've just had a lot of channel growth lately, man. Again, you love to see it. Jerome Powell, Tesla have been helping with that for sure. Oh, I'm not sure. One Love. Yeah, I don't know if gold's going to go up or down. I'm in gold. I hope it goes up. Gold currently at about 2050, a little bit under 2050. Get ready to day trade some here at the open too. Man, surging in markets here. All right, guys, we're up to 389.50s here, 389.20s. SPY at 458.40s. AbbVie, I don't know enough about AbbVie either. I actually usually try to stay in my lane with stocks that I know or don't know. And AbbVie is one of those stocks I just don't really know that well. Gold has a 90% chance of going down. I mean, that's kind of a... everything has a chance of going down some. But, like... Okay. I say this all the time. But I'm going to go ahead and say it again for the people in the back. All right? Investing in general, right? The stock market in general. Easier way to put it. The stock market in general is a way to combat inflation losses over time. And so what do I mean by that? What I mean is that if you sit on cash, right? So if you sit on cash positions, if you sit on cash, say you're holding $50,000 in cash, okay? If you do not choose to invest that $50,000 in cash and you instead choose to just sit on it, over time, you will lose boatloads of money doing so. You are going to lose boatloads of money sitting on cash and not investing in it. Why are you going to lose money? How are you going to lose money? You're going to lose money because dollars are going to be worth less over time. We know this because we can look at buying a house in the year 2000 was way cheaper than buying a house 23 years later in 2023. Okay, and so over time, your dollars will be devalued if you do not hedge them against inflation. Now, there's a lot of different inflationary hedges. The main ones being the S&P, the Nasdaq, gold, real estate, precious metals, like whatever you want to look at, the Dow. Those are inflation hedges. Why are they inflation hedges? Because if you invest and you let your money sit in those, short term, anything can happen. But long term, they will keep up with inflation to a certain extent. The S&P, as an example, will give you about 10% a year. And that's keeping up with inflation to a certain extent. And so if you have $100,000, not even including compounding, because compounding is going to be more than that. But if you have 100K, by the end of that 10-year period, look, I'll go ahead and include compounding. Okay, so we got 100,000. All right, we're going to do times 1.1, that's 1 year, times 1.1, that's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. So you're gonna more than double your money investing in the S&P 500. This keeps up with inflation to a certain extent. This is why people invest. This is why sitting on cash is usually not a good move. Even if you're skeptical of investing in the stock market, you can buy bonds. Bonds are guaranteed returns. Bonds are guaranteed returns by the U.S. government. And so they're going to pay you whatever their yield is. Typically, it's much less. It's less than half of the S&P 500's average gains, but it's guaranteed, right? So you don't have to worry about bad timing and crashes and all that different stuff. Going back to gold, right? Going back to gold. Gold has 7x'd over the last 20 years. Gold has gone up 7 times its value that it was in 2000. 7 times. So gold has been one of the best long-term inflationary hedges that you can use. Gold. You hear old people talk about gold. This is why. It's because gold has been one of the best inflation hedges you can have, right? But to a certain extent, a lot of people are also going to argue with that in mind that gold's extended on the upside. And maybe it is. Maybe gold is extended on the upside now. But the overarching point I'm trying to make is that if you don't hedge your money long term, you are going to lose money. And you can save, you can do whatever you want to do. If you don't invest it in something, you can invest in bonds. It's guaranteed. You buy a 4.3% yield, 4.3% yield 10-year bond, right? They're going to pay you 4.3%. If you have 100K, they're going to pay you $4,300 a year every year. And then at the end of that 10-year period for a 10-year bond, you're going to get your 100K back. And so you're basically going to make $43,000 if you invest 100K into 10-year treasury yields right now. Over a 10-year period, you're going to make about $43,000 from that. So, again, you can do the yearly math. You're going to make about $4,300 a year, So again, you get, just to give you some other examples, just so you guys can see how you can kind of plan it. Say you get $500,000, right? People always ask me, hey, what do you do if you win the lottery? What do you do if you win the lottery? If you win the lottery, bro, you always take the lump sum. Number one, you never take the monthly payments. You always take the lump sum. And the reason you take the lump sum is because say you win $50 million, right? You could buy a 10-year treasury bond. Say you win the lottery, you get 50 mil, right? It's going to be, say the real payout was 100 mil, but you took the lump sum, right? And so what you're going to get here is if you invest this in treasury bonds, you're going to make 0.043 a year. So you're going to make $2.15 million a year. And then at the end of the 10 years, you're going to get your 50 million back. And so in 10 years, you're basically going to pay for what you missed out on the lump sum, if you understand the math behind this. But the point is, like, learn to invest. Diversify is the best thing. You know, if you ask me, I'm putting my money in a little bit of everything. I'm buying some bonds. I'm buying some S&P 500. I'm buying some Nasdaq. I'm buying some gold, real estate, another conventional inflationary hedge. Like, these are all important things to understand in terms of just general investing. GameStop earnings are this evening at the closing bell today. John, why does it rip after the reports? That's always how, that's a lot of the time there's a delayed response in markets, pray. But again, it's very difficult to predict whether it will be a delayed response. What about silver? Silver, I mean, let me see. What's the silver futures contract? We can take a look. I don't know. I haven't seen futures silver in a while. What's the silver symbol? Anybody know? Somebody hit me with the silver symbol. Is it SIL? /SIL? Okay, yeah, it's /SIL. Silver is much more underperformed the S&P. What's a silver stock? SI. Okay, SI is one. SI. Okay, silver's still done pretty well. To put this into perspective, silver was at $5.214, $5.21 an ounce of silver. It was $5.24 an ounce of silver in the year 2000. Right at the beginning of 2000, silver was about $5. We'll call it $5 to make it simple. It's about $5 an ounce. Right. Right now, silver is at $25 an ounce. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It's 5x. Right, so silver has 5x, which is really outperforming the S&P 500 right now. The S&P 500, you look at the SPY, right? You look at the SPY since 2000. The SPY was at 150. So the SPY has 3x'd since 2000, right? Silver has 5x'd. Gold has 7x'd since 2000. That's how the conventional inflation hedges have been performing over the last 23 years. Real estate's probably, I mean, real estate's up a lot too, although we are seeing some slumps in it as well. I guess the overarching point I'm trying to make is you can do whatever you want, but if you're not hedging against inflation, you're losing money over time. You know, a lot of people talk about it like this, right? Here's the easiest way to understand it. Say you're saving up for retirement, and say you're saving up for retirement, but you're not investing in it. You're sitting on cash, right? So right now, I might be 40. I'm not 40. Don't worry. I'm not 40 again, but say I'm 40 years old and I'm trying to save up for retirement at 60, just to make it easy. Say I can save up, $300,000 for retirement, depending on where you live, of course, $300,000. And right now at 40, that might seem like plenty. $300,000, woohoo, that's plenty of money, right? But in 20 years, $300,000 is going to depreciate so much, it's going to be worth noticeably less. You're probably not going to get by with $300K, all right? And so unless you invest that money and let it grow for you, you're going to be there's going to be an unpleasant surprise in 20 years when you realize that $300K is not worth as much as it was 20 years ago. That's the thing to understand. Because again, think about how much gold has gone up in 20 years. Think about how much the S&P has gone up in 20 years. Think of how much silver has gone up in 20 years. Real estate certainly has gone up over the last 20 years. And so if you're investing for retirement, if you're saving for retirement, it has to be investments in something, in my opinion. Again, I can't guarantee anything. Nothing is for sure. And so always make your own assessment, trade responsibly. Just try to be smart about it. Think about what I'm saying. ES is the E-mini, Tesla is Tesla. Yeah, I mean, the best time to start investing tiny was 20 years ago. The second best time is today, So again, start putting money away. It'll grow faster than you think. That's what a lot of people don't realize. That's why a lot of people find themselves trading penny stocks and all this other stuff, is because they don't realize how much money can grow over time. You know, especially decades. Like, you know, like stop throwing thousands of dollars away investing in crap penny stocks. Throw that stuff in the S&P 500 or the Nasdaq or gold or real estate or whatever you want to do, and wait 20 years and it's going to be way more than you think it might. John Bucks, John Coin. I'm gonna get a coin. You know. I once read that in 1960, a Corvette cost about 3,000 silver coins. Fast forward to 2023, and a Corvette still costs about 3,000 silver coins. That's how you fight inflation. 100%. That's exactly what I'm saying. You want it to keep up with inflation. That's what you do. Again, you want, like, you hear older people talk about gold a lot. This is why they know what they know what's up, man. They know what works, and gold works. Now, again, you might consider gold extended right now, but. Will Nasdaq break 16K? It did already. Now, whether it's going to continue to break it, I'm not sure. All right, guys, and again, we're going to get ready to day trade some. We've had a pretty good day so far. We've traded the Nasdaq a little bit. See if we can get some more. Here's the Nasdaq. Just rip it over highs. Nasdaq's right around 16K right now, too, so it's close to 16K. Bitcoin, guys. One of the biggest stories of the day, man. Bitcoin at 44,500. Oh, man, I forgot to charge my AirPods. It's okay. Bro, I am like the AirPod destroyer. Dude. Bro, like, I destroy so many AirPods, bro. I've literally bought, like, the last 3 years, I've probably bought at least 8 pairs of AirPods. Spending thousands of dollars on freaking AirPods. How do you use the AirPods, sound and microphone? I use them, no, I don't use the mics on the AirPods. The mic's just not good enough on the AirPods. You know, I use a Blue Snowball, or no, this is a Blue Yeti microphone. So I use the Blue Yeti mic with a pop filter. I don't know, though. After that Jerome Powell stream I had last week, man, I might switch from StreamYard. Yeah, Bitcoin, guys, at 45, almost $45,000, man. Almost back up, dude. The bull run's really starting. It sounds like when I fake type and just hit keys to say I'm busy, or to look like I'm busy. I've had people accuse me of that before, to be honest. Like, I really have had people accuse me of that before. The difference, though, is that I'm really one of the top 3 typers in the world right now. All right, you don't believe me? About to show you. All right, so we're gonna do it easy just to make it simple. All right, ready? You guys ready? All right, man. Look at the Q rip up. Nasdaq rip it up over 16,000. Okay, well hold on. We'll do our typing test in a second. Q over 16,000 right now. Over 16K. Let's see if it actually holds. Look, we got 1 minute. Let's see if it holds up here by the time I'm done with this typing test. All right, here. I can't remember what my record was before. Oh well. All right, so that's what I got right now. No, I don't want to take a survey, bro. Get that survey out the way. Okay, I just got 93 words per minute. So 93 words per minute is what I just got, which I think that might have been my record, though. I'm not sure if that was or not. 93 words per minute. I'll take it. Top 3 skills in the world right now.
Let's say I'm a biology student working on a research paper for school.
Oh, I got 90. Oh, I got 94 words per minute, team. Look at this. And honestly, I had some errors too. Oh, I got 91 net. Not quite my king one, but like, look, I got 91. I'll take it. Top 3 typers in the world right now. You know. That's what I'm saying. People like, that's not the first time people have been like, yo, you're just clicking buttons on your screen. Like, dude. Bro, my wrist hurts from jujitsu, dude. Like, it's kind of swollen. If you look at my arm right here, this bone right here is like up. It's like hurting. It's like swollen right now. All right, so again, the Nasdaq broke over 16K and now it's back under it. It's at 15.998. SPY's still moving up. Earn Bitcoin? I don't have an Alexa in my house. Again, I don't want anybody listening to me too much, you know? Like, running this live stream makes me kind of, like, paranoid, for lack of a better word. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want, like, when you have people look at you for 4 hours a day, sometimes longer, when the stream is off, you don't want a bunch of people calling you or looking at you. I'm terrible with answering the phones too. I've had so many people that have tried to like reach out and be friends with me, but I hate answering the phone. It's not just with people at home, bro. It's with everybody. Like, one of the reasons I'm a crappy real estate agent is because I don't answer the freaking phone. Because again, I'm tired of talking. I don't want to talk anymore. Again, if you really want to contact me, just text me. I'll usually get back. But if you call me, I'm probably not answering it. You're probably gonna get the call declined. I don't know if I'm just young or younger generation where I don't like answering the phone. I don't like talking on the phone. Unless I'm talking to my mom or dad or Carol, I'm not really answering the phone. I don't want to answer the phone. I don't like talking on the phone. Doge? Yeah, it's the 10-year anniversary for Doge, right? Where's Doge at right now? Doge is at 10 cents. Where's coin market cap? Let's check it out. Yeah, Doge is up a lot, man. Doge, I mean, it's up like 10% or whatever this is, like a little bit more than that. Its monthly chart's doing great. Doge back up to almost 11 cents. So, I mean, I hope Doge keeps running. I have a friend who's my business partner. He loves the phone, so he talks to everyone. I never answer it. Yeah, I need free time, man. You know. All right, so Nasdaq back over 16K, back up over it. Yeah, I'm probably a bad business partner in general. Like, I've had people that, I don't know, man. I talked about this before, but you stop trusting people. Like, you really stop trusting people. I was talking to a dude at jiu-jitsu about it, and luckily the dude I was talking to was kind of like well off. But you stop trusting people because people, like, jealousy is like a real thing, man. Like, people get weird, people get jealous, people get insecure. Like, people might smile to your face and then secretly just hope you fail. You know, and their actions, they might say one thing, but sometimes their actions show another. Sometimes their actions show resentment, you know? So it's like one of my rules is like, if I ever see somebody if somebody acts resentful regarding me in any way, that's it. Like, I'm not about to do business with them at all, because the worst thing I can do is get involved with business with somebody that's resentful of me, you know? Because then it's like, a lot of the time the way it happens is like, say we start another business and that business struggles, but like maybe my YouTube business or programming I'm doing well or whatever it is, right? If I'm doing well in their business and other businesses that don't have anything to do with them, they're gonna get mad at me. Like, I need to share the other stuff that I'm making with them. Like, it just gets a really weird nuance and dynamic of it. So it's been one of those things, and maybe I'm just bad in business. Like, maybe I'm not a good business partner in that situation, in that regard. But you know, I'm okay with that, and I'd rather just run everything myself. It's really hard to find a solid business partner. Right. Oh, family is some of the worst too. Family just gets bitter and resentful, man. Some of them don't. So, you know, a lot of the time family will take their own insecurities out on you. So like, if they're insecure about whatever, they'll be weird with you. And yeah, people are just, most of the time, people want you to be successful, but they don't want you to be more successful than they are, is the easiest way to put it. Once you start to do that, then they get weird. All right, guys. Hey, Nasdaq's flying up right now, well over 16K. Let's watch 16,000 as well. Let's watch 16K. There's 16K right there. Q up to 390s. Yeah, I don't talk about my problems with anybody, you know, except the 600 people that are here live right now, but y'all won't tell, right? You know? Nah, I talk about my problems, but I'm never specific. I'll vent, but I'm never specific. And, you know, again, most of the time I'm just trying to fill air. Like, I'm trying to make the conversation interesting. And I think I do a good job at it, but some people don't, I'm sure. So do you hide your success? To a certain extent, yes. I mean, not completely, you know, but like, you know, again, there's a lot of people think that wealthy people are like really flashy and you know, wearing super flashy clothing and, you know, all that stuff. And then to a certain extent, it depends on how much money they have. But most of the wealthy people that I know are very easy going. They're very, for lack of a better word, quiet in how they are. They don't flash it. They don't wear suits everywhere. They wear t-shirts and shorts, and you know, they don't go around bragging a lot, because again, that makes people targets. Q still ripping up. Nasdaq still flying up. It's at 16.202 thousand. Again, I'm not even claiming to be super rich or wealthy or anything like that. I'm not. You ready for your own talk show, John? Hey. Yeah, partnerships are a struggle, dude. They really are. How to make $1,000 every day trading? I mean, if you really want to make $1,000 every day trading, I would say start off with like 500,000 and trade very small. You're not going to do it every day, of course. You're probably going to lose half the time, but you know, in order to comfortably make $1,000 in trading every day, you need a lot more money and buying power. You know, a lot of people acting like you can take 10K and then make $1,000 a day with 10K. And again, it's just not accurate. Most of the time, again, the reality of things, and this is very prevalent in trading, is that you'll take people and, you know, most of the time they got something that they're selling, right? And again, I sell stuff too. Like I'm promoted, I have sponsors, and my sponsors are great. But I don't sell a course myself because I don't want to be a guru. You know, because the problem with gurus is that they fudge things too much. I would rather tell people, like, I would rather not claim to be super profitable and not claim to be some day trading guru and just have it easy. That way I don't, like, I could lose every day for a week and nobody can tell me anything. Hey, whoa. Nope. What you doing, bro? Okay, well, yeah, well, then you can't walk anywhere around here, bro. So what you doing in here, man? Huh? Have you done your schoolwork for the day? Do you have schoolwork you need to do? Okay, yeah. If it's charged, sure. You know, a lot of people think they can make $1,000 a day with 10K and they can do it over and over again. And again, that's just, again, I'm not saying you can't do it, but okay. If you try to make 10% in your account a day, you might get away with it a couple times, right? And what happens is you got people that get away with it a couple times, and then they, like, the easiest way to put it is, say you got a $10,000 account, right? And say you're trying to sell some course or some mentorship program. And so what do? Is you take that $10,000 and you take some really big risky bets with it. Really big risky bets. Something that's just not sustainable. It's just not sustainable. You're not going to make 10% a day. It's just not going to happen. You can try to, and maybe you get away with it, but you're risking your entire account to do so, right? So anyways, they take these huge risks, risking their entire account, and they make $1,000 with a $10,000 account. And so then they might do that one time. They're certainly not doing it over and over again. They might do that one time, right? Then the next thing you hear from them is, bro, I'm making $1,000 a day with my 10K account. And it's like, are you doing that? Or did you just take a huge risk and make $1,000 in one day? You know, you're not going to be able to recreate that over and over again. And if you try to, the check's going to come. Your whole account's going to be gone eventually. You know what I mean? That's the mindset people have to understand about it, is that there's a difference between doing something once and taking incredibly risky bets and risking your entire account to do so, and being able to recreate that every single day. You know? And so somebody might make $10,000 in one day trading. You ask them about it, bro, I'm making 10K a day. It's like, no, you're not. You made it one day taking a super risky bet that you're risking your entire account to do. It's the overarching point I'm trying to make is stop trying to look cool in trading. The more you try to look cool, you know, the more you're going to lose. Risk of ruin, 100%, right? Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm not claiming to be some super profitable day trader. You know, I'm not. I don't need to be. Mostly my channel covers economics. which is probably my go-to anyway. We're mostly economic channel. All right, guys. Hey, we got 25 minutes here. 25 minutes. All right, remember today we got C3 AI earnings. All right, team, we're getting ready. All right, so we've already had the ADP non-farm employment change data come out. All right. There we go. Sorry. Changing my thumbnail or my titles a little bit more. Yeah, equities market's definitely ripping up a little bit too. Thank you for that. I really had a hard time trying to understand that part and when people say they make that much and what's really realistic. Thanks for keeping it 100. Yeah, I mean, again. Okay. Sometimes you'll hear me talk about the same things over and over again, and I'm repeating them so people can hear them, because sometimes it takes repetition for people to grasp what I'm saying. And again, I have no reason to lie to you guys. Like, I do very well running this YouTube channel, of course, and just telling people the truth behind things. I do really well just telling people the truth behind things. I don't need to lie and pretend to be a day trading guru or whatever it is. And I'm not saying there's not day trading gurus out there. There's some guys that are absolutely killing it in day trading. But I think it's important to temper expectations, And so people need to understand that day trading is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a skill, and that skill takes a long time to learn. Like, it takes a long time to learn. It's one of the reasons I preach about funded account programs. And again, I'm sponsored by them, so of course I have a bias in their favor. Of course, I want you to sign up because I make money when you do. But day trading in a funded account program is it's the better way to limit your risk. Instead of trying to put up $10,000 yourself and take crazy big risks and trying to look cool on the internet, try a funded account program. You're day trading essentially the Nasdaq, the S&P, gold. There's no PDT rule, so you can get in and out, buy market, sell market, all that good stuff. The only difference between day trading stocks and that mostly is sizing. And of course, you can't trade individual stocks, but you can day trade the Nasdaq, all that stuff. And again, there's no PDT rule. But a funded account program limits your risk. Almost all day traders lose money. So it doesn't make sense if you're just getting started to put the money up yourself and just take unnecessary risks. It makes much more sense to trade small, trade light, try a funded account program. If you lose, it's not the end of the world, which most day traders are going to lose. And if you're good enough to pass it, you still get a 90% split once you're funded. And in that regard, it's the best of both worlds. It's limited risk. If you pass it, you still get a 90% split. You get free funding coaches, tons of resources. They pay out millions in actual withdrawals every year, so they're legit processing payouts fast. And again, you can check it out. There's the link. It depends on what you call a millionaire, Al, but I appreciate it. Where's GameStop at anyways? Definitely top 3 most humble, for sure. Humility flows through me. You know, when you look this good, it's hard not to be humble. You know what I mean? I lost a lot on Top Step with resetting. Yeah, but it costs $50 to reset. You have to understand, like again, anybody that's actually tried to put up money day trading themselves knows what I'm talking about. Like, again, I lost thousands and thousands of dollars doing so, and that's most people trying to day trade themselves. And so again, what people might get frustrated, they lose on Top Step, and they might have to reset a bunch, and again, that might make them frustrated. They might think they got ripped off, but the people who think they got ripped off truly have no idea what trading with real money is like most of the time. Like, they truly have no idea how much you lose trading real money versus that, right? Even if you lose $500, like, bro, you put up 5K yourself and you try day trading penny stocks. You know, see how long that lasts. You know, it's not going to be as good as you think it is. And most people are going to lose thousands of dollars. It's just a way to limit your risk. Yeah, definitely top 3 beards in the world right now. Honestly, bro, I was always one of those kids that couldn't grow a beard. You know, like a lot of people in my family can't grow beards. I get it from my mom's side. My mom's dad, he was a beard guy, I think. But a lot of people in my family couldn't grow a beard. I was one of those people, like, you know, those young kids. Like, I was 20, and I looked so young at 20 that, like, I looked like I was 15, right? So the only strategy I could have with girls is, like, I could try to grow some facial hair, but it really wasn't working like that. Like, so all I could really grow was, like, a little bitty soul patch goatee, like a little bitty, like, nub of beard, right? And again, the problem is, like, in hindsight, everybody knows. So it's like young people, they grow those goatees because that's all they can do, and they think it makes them look older, but it just makes it look like they can't grow a beard, you know. But you work with what you got at that age, you know. I still was able to, you know, have girlfriends and stuff, but I definitely couldn't grow a beard. You know, over time, who knew that I would grow into having the top 3 greatest beards of all time ever in the world? Top 3 for sure. Mine comes in patchy. Mine did too, but if your beard comes in patchy, you gotta let it, like, whenever you're growing a beard, like, this part grows in patchy for me too, but you gotta let it sit. A lot of, like, I probably could have grown a beard at 25, 20 something, but you gotta let it get through the patchy phase, right? So what I mean by that is you gotta leave it alone and not shave it. And sometimes that's hard to do because I end up looking like Joe Dirt, you know, but eventually I got it. Eventually I was able to grow it. Yeah, I always look younger, and I appreciate it now because now I'm in my mid-30s, and, you know, I think I look good for my mid-30s, but maybe I'm top 3 oldest looking 30-something-year-olds ever. Yeah, you always got those 2 friends. You always got those friends growing up. One of them can't grow a beard at all, like me, and the other one just grows like a super huge beard that everybody's jealous of in your friend group, you know. Sideburns that just go down, like, you know what I mean? You secretly hate them. I should try that. I give up when it looks horrible. Yeah, I mean, that's what it took for me. Like, I had to just let it sit for like a month. After a month, it actually started to look like a beard, but it took some time for sure, you know. Yeah, I'll tell you this. You hate getting carded for stuff when you're young. But I promise you, when you get older, you miss it. You know, when you get older, you miss it. All right, so we're chopping back and forth. Nasdaq broke over John's life advice. We're going to turn this channel to John's life advice. The Nasdaq over 16,000, over 16K. Will it hold over 16K? Chewy has earnings again this evening, too. So Chewy is going to be interesting for specifically earnings we have this evening. Yeah, my equities portfolio is looking pretty good. Pretty good. The New York Stock Exchange? What do you mean, man? What do you mean check the New York Stock Exchange? You mean the US 100 index? What do you mean? Chewy? Yeah, Chewy has earnings this evening, right? I don't know. I kind of like Chewy long term, though. Chewy's one of those companies that I think is going to be fine, even though it's pulling back a lot. I'm in Chewy, actually. I didn't even realize I was in Chewy. They have earnings today, so that'll be relevant, too. But Chewy's one of those companies I think is going to be fine, because I think over time, people are going to start buying stuff online more and more for pets. I know I have 2 German Shepherds, and, like, we used to go to Petco. Now we just order stuff online, and it gets shipped to our door. And it's much more easy and convenient. What do you think about Chewy earnings? I hope they go well, but again, to be completely honest, I haven't really been watching the stock like that, you know. Yeah, happy birthday, T. Again, if you haven't already, check out TopStep. TopStep funded account program and futures. If you want to get exposure to day trading, try out TopStep. Again, it really is a great way to learn. This is what I've been talking about all morning. Great way to learn day trading with less risk. Link is in the description if you want to check it out. Palantir's on the New York Stock Exchange, and it fell really good today's pre-market. It's an AI stock, so it's probably going to be moving to a certain extent with AI. I don't know what's going on with Palantir, though. Did they have earnings? C3 AI is going to be the big influence over AI today. Again, C3 AI is a big AI stock that people are going to be paying attention to. Somebody asked me how I met Carol. I met Carol through a mutual friend. She was with this other girl that I knew at the time. It's a long story. She was with this other girl that I knew at the time, and the other girl was like hitting on me a little bit while I was there with Carol, and like the other guy I was with was hitting on Carol, but Carol didn't like him really, and I didn't really like her friend, and so, you know, Carol and I started talking. It would have worked out funny if her friend and then the other guy that Carol didn't like ended up becoming a thing, but instead Carol just told the dude to leave, who was my friend at the time. He's actually who I came with. Yeah, it's a long story. I'm trying not to be too specific. You know, I was young. I was in my 20s, early 20s. So I probably looked about 15 at the time. Yeah, crypto, rip it up, guys. Again, I'm waiting for the ETF approval news. It's supposed to happen any time now, and maybe some of this upward Bitcoin action is from that. All right, so McDonald's new targets is 50,000 restaurants by 2027. They're expanding one of the world's largest loyalty programs from 150 to 250 million and 90-day active users by 2027. Citigroup also saying they're going to do around 500 million worth of buybacks during the quarter, and expenses need to go down to 51 to 53 billion to increase ROTCE to 11 to 12%. China vowing to retaliate against the UK sanctions, according to Bloomberg. Didn't discuss any further details. Nah, dips, not me, man. Yeah, you can use Tradeovate on TopStep. I use Quant Tower and TopStep X, but still. All right, so we're getting a big bounce up here. You can see this range in the Nasdaq, and I can't help but watch this range now. So like, let's draw a little thing around this range. That's the range we're currently in right now. These are the biggest levels that I see on the chart. 16K. We got this one and this one. We're watching those. You can see the Q, which is the Nasdaq, start to rip up a little bit. Nasdaq looking really strong today, which is good. Hey, nice timing. All right, team. Hey, we got 9 minutes here. 9 minutes is about 8.5 left. Try to be patient here. Are you going to report the Bank of Canada interest rate decision? Yeah, we'll probably at least cover it. Remind me if I don't. Expectations are a pause. Stay at 5% is most likely what they're going to do. It drops in 38 minutes. If I stream that long, which is a maybe. You know, maybe. Again, with rate hike decisions, guys, they're almost always as expected. Like overseas in Europe, they're a little bit more volatile in terms of decisions. But it's probably going to be at 5%. So it's probably going to be a pause like they're expecting. Anybody know any good poker circuits, like tourneys in the Houston area? Like, I've been having the itch to play poker. Like, to be honest, I've always been a poker player. But I've kind of slowed down my play a lot over the last 5 years. But I've actually got the spark again. That happens. Like, I've always been a big poker player, but I'm kind of looking for live tourneys. 34% voted Fed raises rates. There's no chance. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely not going to raise rates next month. Again, most of the time, that's just the bears trying to justify bearish predictions. Nasdaq ripping over that range here. But again, it's so unlikely. It's like 98% thinking we're going to pause or skip. I mean, it could happen. It's just probably not going to happen. It's definitely not 34% odds that it's going to happen for sure. Q's ripping up. SPY ripping up still. Again, we can look at like Tesla here. Tesla up to 243s. We're in that as well. Looks like my plan with Tesla was to hold through the Cybertruck delivery event. I'll probably just keep sitting on it. Yeah, a lot of people like to gamble. A lot of people are biased by, like, the biggest problem is most people are too rigid in their predictions, right? So if they want the market to crash or they think the market's bearish, they stay with that bearish prediction despite the rest of the market showing the opposite. I think that's the biggest mistake most traders make. All right, so again, the Nasdaq testing the top of this range here, rejecting the top of that range. And so we haven't actually broken it yet. Oh, no, I didn't want to move this. We'll keep that there. Part of me wants to buy this too. I'll buy one contract here, see if we can get a good fill. See if we can immediately, like, pop back. We've got a $700 cushion on the day, so, like, even if we lose here, we'll be all right. I'd like to sell before the open because I don't want to get stuck in opening volatility. So it's going to be a short trade. Not short directional, but short term. We'll give it one more second here. I wanted to test this right here. Look at the bounce. So yeah, this is what I wanted to test. Man, it looks like that was the right move. Maybe not. All right, big pop back up. Closer to flat now. We got less than 5. All right, so slightly green now. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that and just take the profit. We ended up making a lot. We are now up $730. No losing trades yet. Again, a lot of the time, if you want to see how, like, I called that support level exactly where we bounced to. But a lot of the time, like, the pattern that you'll see me use is very simple. We'll get a pullback, we'll get a move up there to test highs, we'll get a pullback, and then we'll get a test of it again, right? And so what I usually try to do is I'll identify the support level, I'll wait for us to test highs, and then I'll buy the little mini dip. Instead of buying high of the day breakouts, for instance, I buy the pullbacks here. That way, if we go up to the high and reject, I'm still green a lot of the time. This also works on like trends and ranges. It doesn't have to be like a completely horizontal support level. It can be like a trend line, a trend break of some sort of a wedge, triangle, stuff like that. This works on them as well. Probably should have held a little bit more, but again, I wanted to cover before the open in 3 minutes, so it's all good. The ADP was considered bullish glory because it came in much lower than expected, and the Fed wants a cooling labor market for inflation to get better. And so with the employment numbers coming in lower than expected, that signals a cooling labor market, and i.e. markets pushing up. You mean brokerage fees, Raul? I mean, futures trading, there's fees. The way I combat it is I just trade regular. If you trade micros, you're going to get eaten up in fees. So I just trade regulars. I don't trade micros. All right, guys, opening bells in about 2.5 minutes. All right, so we got a little dip here. Part of me wants to buy this up again, but I think I'll just chill and wait. Okay, I'll consider a D. Thanks, man. It's kind of far away from me, but it's all right. I want a good tournament, though, not cash games. I'm not much of a cash game player. I'm a tourney player. So I'm not talking about specific, like, rooms. I'm talking about actual tournaments, like bigger tournaments that I could participate in. Like, I don't mind the buy-in being, like, $1,000 or more as well. So I'm talking about, like, big buy-in tourneys in my area. And it could also be, like, I'll have to look. I know Doug Polk has, like, his room in Austin, I believe it's where it's at. Which is about 2.5 hours away, which is really not that far. All right, guys, we got less than a minute here before the market opens. Less than a minute. Here we go. All right, so here's the opening bell at 20 seconds. I should have bought that dip. I wanted to buy the dip. I should have, because it would have worked nicely. Look at that bounce. Tourneys are just more fun for me. Like they're more of kind of my personality type. I always did well online and like sit and goes is kind of my go-to tourney. All right, there's the opening bell. Getting a little dip here at the open. Getting a little pullback. That looks weak. Yep, there's the weak action. This is why I wanted to get out before the open. Looks like it was the right move. Something's pushing up in my portfolio. I'm trying to see what it is. Apple, banks. Tesla. Big dip at the opening bell, team. Still over where we were this morning for non-farm data. It's a big dip. Not a huge dip, actually. Just Nasdaq looks more pronounced. Carnival Cruise Pumps is not back. I don't know. I don't like the cruise ship industry, to be honest. I think there's too big of a chance that it loses interest. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Is GameStop ripping up? Yeah, GameStop popping up. See, it's pulled back a lot though yesterday. There's a big dip in the Nasdaq now though. My portfolio's running too, which is nice. Despite the market pulling back. Looks like Citigroup's helping. Big retracement back up. I'm gonna let things settle first. GameStop is bouncing though. Let's see if this level holds. You see, I drew this support level. Let's see if it turns into resistance now. GameStop rejecting a little bit here too. Weird though. Again, my portfolio is still running. We're up 215 on my stock positions. Carnival Cruise is ripping, so whoever said that, it is ripping up, so that's nice. Yeah, it could be profit taken. I'm not sure. It's not that big. Like again, so non-farm employment change data came out here. Right, so non-farm employment change data came out here, so we're still very green from this in pre-market as well as relative to the non-farm data. So it's a big pullback, probably profit taken yeah, I would agree with that. Again, I haven't taken any trades today. I'm looking at Carnival. It's pushing up. It's over 17 right now. I see it. I'm going to short this, although it's kind of risky. Kind of sideways and choppy. There we go. I'd like a little bit more here. All right, so we just went and locked it in, made another 60. We're up 800 on the day now. Exactly. 797.50 technically. So we got a little scalp short. That's the only trade we've taken since the open. Here's our P&L. Again, if you look at it, no losses yet. We're up about 800 on the day so far. Big pullbacks. I'm gonna start buying this dip now. It's up 70, 90, 100. Just scalp that. We're up about 9 something on the day now. Very quick trade though. Very quick trade. We are up 897.50 right now. 897.50. Quick little 100 bones. We'll see if we can keep it up. Man, I sound cool if I say bones. I felt cringy as soon as I said it. Apple. Where's Apple at? Apple's down a little bit. I'm still pretty green on my portfolio on the day though. Again, here's my P&L on this, or my equities positions. This is me right now on my equities position on the day. I'm up $197.13. Short breakdown still happening though. Again, probably profit taken a little bit at the opening bell. I'm gonna try buying this again. Here we go, we're in. Let's see if we retrace back. Let's try adding one to it. Oof, might be a bad move. We can take larger risks since we have the cushion, but I'm gonna have to cut this quick. Man, it just keeps falling. I'm gonna get out there. So we ended up losing a bunch, but we're still up 600 on the day, which is nice. Only 100 less than what we started. But yeah, that thing dropped quick. I was kind of like a deer in headlights there. I'll probably slow it down a little bit now. We're gonna probably switch accounts and just keep this up on the day like we are. So we just switched accounts just so we could lock in the 600 on the day that we're up. 600 and something on the day we're up. Getting a little bounce back here. I'm gonna short this. There we go. Slightly green. I'm gonna just go ahead and lock that in. Little baby steps here. Just made about 35 on the day. 35. So we got a little baby trade. I like that up wick, but I also don't trust it right now. SPY's at the 200 EMA though. I'm gonna short this. The reason I'm shorting this, Apple's right around the previous closing price. There we go. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and lock that in. So we are now up a cool 140 on this account. We got our first loss of the day, so we've had one loss today and up a decent amount since then. And this is my funded account. So this is my actual funded account here. Starting to get some breakdowns here. Still pretty green, but man, the SPY has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green or 7 red candles in a row. The Nasdaq has had, up until this little candle right here, the Q might actually look a little bit differently. Yeah, so the Q prior up to this candle has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red candles in a row. 8 red candles in a row, and this can so 8 red candles in a row on the Q. Here, I'm switching probably to the E-mini to see what this one looks like. Yeah, so we're gonna switch to the E-mini if we can figure. Yeah, I'm looking at the E-mini or the Dow. So I'm looking at the E-mini or the Dow. I'm not sure which one I want to do. Alright, so again, just to give you guys my perspective, YMZ3 is the Dow. I'm not super used to trading the Dow though, and I know we do have a contract change coming out sometime soon here. Here's the Dow. Dow looks much more choppy than like the E-mini here. E-mini looking pretty red as well. A lot of red candles in a row. And again, you can see the E-mini is the same thing as the SPY. I'm gonna go ahead and buy this up and start to buy. We're just down so much, I think it's time to bounce. Even if it's just a little bit, we can maybe get some profit from it. Alright, so we're flat. 2 contracts of the E-mini. We're trying to move up. Alright, so we'll probably take a little bit off of this the first time we see some profit, if we can get up there enough. Sorry guys, managing the trade now, trying to manage this. We're dipping down. Yeah, it could be shorts covering. It's a pretty big pullback for shorts covering though. So like, it could be that, but it's a pretty large pullback for that. So I'm not gonna say it's not somewhat bearish even with shorts covering. Or bullish, I mean, from shorts covering. But maybe I'm long, so I just want it to go up more, you know, instead of just... It's certainly bearish, the opening bell. Again, we're kind of flat on this trade. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take half of that off, lock that in. All right, we're flat. Now we're red a little bit. Luckily, we took some profit off of it though. I could add back to it. I don't know what I want to do. The problem is it's just broken down so much that my bias is on the upside. There we go. All right. All right, we're gonna go and lock that in too. Again, I'm looking at the Apple chart as well. Apple looking really weak this morning. Tesla looking very strong over the last couple of days. Where's Tesla at right now? Tesla ripping over highs again, man. Wow. There we go. Could have held that a little bit longer. I might short into the Q if it pulls up to the 200 EMA. I like this upwick, so part of me is tempted to short again. Especially with the Q starting to hit the 200 EMA and the SPY hitting it as well. I'm gonna go ahead and short, and my plan is to add. We have a cushion now, so my plan is to add to this and take a little bit larger risks on the trade. If we break down beforehand, fine. We got one contract, we'll make a little bit, but if we can bounce up a little bit more and add to it, we'll take a larger risk trade. Yeah, Tesla is ripping up. All right, so we bounced up a little bit. Not enough for me to add to it though and fix my average. All right, so again, I'm trying to get a bounce up a little bit more. I see the SPY at the 200 EMA. And so since it is the E-mini, we'll add a little bit more here, and then maybe we'll add one more position if it moves up some more. I'm trying to scale in close to the VWAP, looking for a VWAP rejection on the SPY is kind of what the trade idea I'm looking at is. But again, I don't know what we should do here. Remember, we also have C3 and GameStop earnings that we're going to be streaming on later today, so be ready for that also. All right, we're flat on our position. See if we can move down and just test lows is what I want. Just to move down to just test lows is I'm okay with. The Fed's not going to raise rates next month or this month. All right, so we're flat on the position. We're trying to give this time. All right, so we're starting to get a breakdown. We're going to take half of that off, lock in a little bit more. We're up another 50, 60, 70. There we go. All right, so that trade worked out beautifully here where we scaled in short to the VWAP on the SPY and caught the break. We'll take that. Yeah, the FOMC meeting's on the 13th. Next week's going to be the busiest week we've had in a while, which is next week we have CPI, PPI, the FOMC bank, or the FOMC rate hike decision. I don't think we have any big earnings. I think earnings season's basically done. And so it's not going to heat up again. Oh, we have Oracle dropping earnings on Monday. What else we got? Yeah, I'm looking at all the earnings. Nothing really big is coming out for a while. SPY's kind of consolidating after big opening breakdowns. Yeah, so we're really not going to have any earnings plays. Earnings season doesn't start. The next earnings play, you can always see is Tesla usually sparks up the earnings season. Maybe JP Morgan. So January 12th, so in like a month from now is when the next earnings season starts. Yeah, I see airlines popping up. Yeah, I see airlines starting to move up. And again, the big influence over markets is going to be C3 AI earnings coming out pretty soon. Market's mostly flat since we've had these numbers drop. All right, guys, so we're sitting here tight, choppy. See if we get some flush downs. Waiting for the Fed decision. Yeah, I mean, we got some breakdowns. A lot of the time ahead of the FOMC meeting, we got choppiness. I think we're still a little bit too early for the market to be too quiet, because we still got a week before the Fed makes that decision, right? So like we still got time. Is basically what I'm saying. So it's still a little early. Again, market's very consolidation heavy right now. Kind of boring. We had a really good day everything wise, like pretty good day all around. We're just kind of sitting tight right now, waiting for something to show up that looks favorable on a chart, but just not really seeing much yet. All right, so we've had a pretty good day trading. Market's kind of flat right now, though, guys. So I'm kind of sitting quiet. I'll probably go ahead and close it down right now. I just don't see anything that looks super good, in my opinion, at this point in time. If you haven't already, though, guys, check out TopStep. Check out TopStep, funded account program in futures. A great way to learn day trading. Like, again, what they do is they give you a demo first, and if you can pass their test, it's a challenge. Most people are going to fail because most day traders lose, right? Like, that's the end of it. Like, most day traders lose money. Doesn't matter whether they're on TopStep or anywhere else, most day traders lose. The point of this, though, is that it's a lot cheaper to lose on TopStep than it is to put up thousands yourself, of course, and risk that. Because, again, most day traders lose money. You can try to look cool, put the money up yourself before you're really ready, or you could try a funded account program. TopStep's the most legit one in the world. They give you a demo, test your skill. If you're good enough to pass it, you get a 90% split. If you're not good enough to pass it, you're gonna lose $49, right? You can day trade the S&P, the Nasdaq, currencies, gold, silver. Patterns are very similar to blue chips, but there's just no PDT rule. If you want to check them out, here's the link for that. I use the 200 EMA on my chart. The other sponsor of mine is a company called Chart Prime. It's a trading view indicator service you can use in stocks, crypto, forex, futures. I use them a lot with my trading. Again, if you want to see proof of that here's Chart Prime right here. Right, like you can see a lot of this is really, really accurate. Again, I can't guarantee you're gonna make money. Nobody can. But again, just let me put up just some of these. We'll use just the S&P right now, just the S&P. All right. So again, let's look at just today. So here's today's price action. You can back test this yourself. Look, sell signal, drop, buy signal, and an engulfing candle bounce. This one was wrong. Buy signal worked, sell signal worked, buy signal worked, reversal down worked, sell signal worked, right? So again, maybe 1 out of 6 didn't work. And so the reversals is the regular market oracle. And again, they show you engulfing candles as well. Again, a little pro tip here. Don't underestimate how powerful just simple engulfing candles can be. I use them a lot with my trading. Engulfing candles, one of the single biggest sentiment signals you can have. And again, if you look at it on a 1-minute chart, in my opinion, it's even better right now. Again, look at a 1-minute chart. Again, check out the sell signal here. Beautiful breakdown. Reversal signal, a bullish engulfing candle, something that I always love to use. Beautiful bounce. Strong buy signal there. Worked. Reversal down. This one might not have worked, but again, 75% accurate. Again, I can't guarantee you're going to make money. Nobody can. We'll talk about these a little bit more. I challenge you to back test it yourself. Again, because these can just be powerful. They're not going to work every day. They're not going to work all the time. But again, if you can find moments where they work and learn how to use them correctly, it's like $50 a month. It's a great tool for traders, a great tool for traders. Again, they are a sponsor of mine as well. I'm definitely biased in both of my sponsors' favor because they pay me money. But again, I'm always honest and transparent about that. Really useful services. Check them out. Here's the link. Y'all be good. I'll see you guys later. But again, we're going to be back later on today. We got C3 AI. We got GameStop earnings. We'll stream the entire thing live. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good.